Bole Baba Ki Jai. If you remember in our last reading of the Shiva Purana, we first learned about the birth of Veda Vyasa, the author of the Purana, and then we learned about Brahma and Vishnu arguing who the greatest god was, and the Shiva Lingam appearing, and them trying to find the top and the bottom, and how Brahma lied about finding the top, and then got cursed to never have temples or devotees. Then it went on, the stories, to Kamadeva being created, and also a daughter of Brahma. And in the enchantment of Kamadeva, the god of love, Brahma became overwhelmed with the beauty of his daughter and actually fell in love with her. Seeing this, his son Dharma went to Shiva and asked him to come and help them because he felt that this was very inappropriate. And this is also, by the way, how Brahma got 5 heads, straining to look at his daughter as she circumambulated him. Shiva arrived and mocked Brahma for his succumbing to the enchanter Kamadeva, and Brahma swore that he was going to get revenge on Shiva, and also got angry at Kamadeva and said that Shiva would burn him to ashes someday. So here's where we are now. Narada asked Brahma, what happened after Kamadeva married the beautiful daughter Rati? His great eyes glowing in remembrance, Brahma said, I decided I must take revenge on Shiva. His laughter echoed in my mind, searing me. I thought he scoffed at me only because he is such a yogi. If he were to fall in love himself and take a wife, he would laugh out of the other side of his face. All my tapasya failed to assuage the fire in my heart. I came back to my children. I felt hopeful when I saw the beautiful Kamadeva and his beautiful wife, Rati. I said to them, remember, only when Shiva falls in love will you have redemption from my curse. You must follow him everywhere and cast your enchantment over the ascetic. My arrows, Kamadeva said, my arrows are my lesser weapons. To delude Shiva, we must first have a woman with whom he will fall in love. When Daksha and I considered this, we wondered which woman could capture that passionless heart. Dejected, I sighed. Suddenly spring was born from that sigh, and I scarcely knew how. Spring came decked in a riot of colors and scents. His complexion was a red lotus's. He had dark, nearly maroon, sensuously fine features. This one will be the inducer to permanent love, marriage. I name him Vishanta. Let him be your companion and help you beguile Shiva, Brahma said to Kamadeva. With a colorful and romantic train, Kamadeva, Rati, and Vishanta all left for Kailash, where Shiva lived, bewitching every creature on their way into abandon. The earth bloomed in a spring of love, yet though they followed him everywhere, from Kailash to Meru and on, bringing divine desire with them, Shiva was not moved from his meditation, not even to anger. Men succumbed to the charms of Kamadeva and his friends. Rishis of grave celibacy gave in to temptations. Devas, Asuras, and all the rest, all the immortal mountain folk, were in mad love. But not Shiva or his Ganas. Kamadeva came back to me vanquished. Brahma, this one is fearful to even look at. Who can seduce him? When he decides to emerge from samadhi, who will dare stand before his blazing eyes? I cannot beguile Shiva. My arrows fell around him like garlands of ash. Not one pierced the armor of his meditation and spiritual practice. Brahma said, I despaired, but I knew what I must do. Swallowing my pride, I went to Vishnu, the sleeper on the waters of infinity, which are all the mandalas. Wearing refulgent yellow, smiling at me, not without mockery, blue, Vishnu said, Brahma, of the fathomless intellect, why have you thought of me today, Father of the worlds? What misery has overtaken you? I said, choking, your power is the highest. The universe is in its thrill. By your Maya, I embarked upon my destiny. I told him about Kamadeva and Shiva's laughter, which lay like a molten serpent in my memory. I told them about my plan to seduce Shiva into love and how Kamadeva, Rati, and Vishanti together had failed to move him. Vishnu's smile grew wider and he said indulgently, Brahma, whom do you think you're trying to seduce? This is Shiva, the unborn. There's only one goddess in creation that can help you. If Durga takes a body of flesh and blood, then perhaps Shiva will take a wife. Leaning closer, he whispered, tell Daksha to go to the Sea of Milk and perform a tapasya to the Devi. All will be granted. Hope sprang alive again in my heart. Here was the perfect solution. Had Kamadeva not said his arrows were only his lesser weapons and we must first have the woman to captivate the yogin, Lord Shiva, I bowed to Mahavishnu and left Vaikuntha. I began an unequaled worship of Mother Durga, Devi Avidya and Advidya, knowledge and ignorance, mother of the three great gods. Durga, grossest of the gross, who is yet so subtle she has no form. She appeared in light before me, indescribable, Chandika. Her dark skin shone like coal. She was 8-armed and blessed me with one of her hands. She rode a lion, pearls glowed in her disheveled hair. She was the wildest of the wild, gentlest of the gentle. The crescent moon was upon her brow. She had 3 eyes. Muni, I bent in 2 to worship her, who was as bright as 10 suns. I lay on my face at her feet. I bow to you who came as Lakshmi, the garland around Vishnu's throat. You hold the earth within yourself. You are eternal call, in whom the worlds abide. You are the cause of the 3 gunas and are beyond them. You create, protect, and devour the universe. Obeisance, O great female seed of all things, you are knowledge and knower. I bow to you, Mother. Durga said benevolently, Brahma, what you want must be difficult to have that you worship me with such penance. Tell me what it is. I will give you anything. I looked into her shining face and said as bravely as I could, Shiva, the yogin, lives upon Kailash. The Lord of goblins lives alone and ascetic, O Shakti. Not Vishnu or I, nor Lakshmi or Kamadeva. No one can seduce him to love. Please be born as a woman, Durga, and become his wife. The goddess seemed startled. She said mischievously, oh, this is extraordinary. He is the creator of the universe, the reciter of the Vedas, a god of divine gyan, and this is what he asks. Yet having given my word, I must grant you any boon you want. I said to Maha Durga, Mother, my son Daksha sits in tapasya in your name on the shores of the sacred rivers. I beg you be born as his daughter to fascinate Lord Shiva. The mother said, so be it, and vanished. Daksha's tapasya lasted 3,000 years, imbibing only air he worshipped her. At the end of that time, she manifested before him, Durga on her lion, dark and beautiful and 8-armed, holding a blue lotus and a curved sword. Daksha said, primordial Durga, wielder of illusion over the universe, bless me. She smiled at him. Daksha, I'm pleased with your worship. Ask me for any boon you want. Be born as my daughter, Devi, and become Shiva's wife. The goddess shone like the sun before Daksha. She was as tall as the sky on her ferocious mount of a lion, and he trembled before her. She raised a crimson hand in benediction, and she said, so be it, Daksha. A shadow flitted across her face for an instant, as if a pang of darkness touched her cosmic mind. Then she was gone. Daksha returned to the mandala that was his ashram and began his task of creation. He created many, many beings from his mind. Meanwhile, I, Brahma, grew impatient. I saw Daksha was not going about creation in a sensible manner or with any order. We were no nearer fulfilling my plan to seduce Shiva. I cajoled him, I blessed him, and now Daksha begot 60 daughters from his wife. The children born peopled the world. Some say that Sati was the eldest of Daksha's daughter, and some say she was the youngest, some say she was born in the middle. However, when Purana, Daksha's wife, shone forth during her pregnancy like the Devi herself, Daksha knew that Durga had kept her word to him. He was ecstatic. The Devas visited Daksha and Purana. The Asuras came to pay homage. In the 10th month of Purana's pregnancy, Durga suddenly appeared before her, scintillating. The quarters had grown profoundly tranquil. There was a fine shower of rain and flowers from the heavens. The Devas had gathered in the sky with sublime music and dance. Yaga fires burned strong and serene that day. The moon, the stars, and the planets were all perfectly auspicious. Daksha joined his palms in homage to to fabulous Kali. Mother Durga, he said, obeisance, mother of all beings, I bow to you who told Brahma to create the worlds, Vishnu to sustain them, and Rudra to destroy them. You are the mother of the Trimurti. O Mother Durga, avidya and avidya, of Raksha, Sattvic, and Tamasic forms. O Durga, I worship you. Daksha, your wish is granted, she said, and she was an ordinary infant wailing at her mother's side. But oh, she was lovely, a blemishless baby. Seeing her unearthly face, Daksha and Purana's joy was complete. Vishnu and I went there to bless the holy child. How luminous she was, she the essence of the three worlds. Thus said Brahma, overcome at the memory. My guru, Vedavyasa, told this to me, and Sutta passed it on to the rishis and the Naimisa Bana. Here's a short meditation to end. Shiva had sat in meditation and tapasya for thousands of cosmic years, yet his mind grew unsteady with compassion for the world. His eyes fluttered half open, and tears fell from them, as if a vow broken. From those precious drops, the first Rudraksha plants sprouted. Shiva has said to the goddess, "The Rudraksha is the holiest bead in this world. Wearing Rudraksha, Shiva's tears destroys all sins." Mother Durga Mata ki jai, Lord Shiva Bhagwan ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.